3, 2, 1, go.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another week of Dungeons and Dragons. I'm your humble DM, and these are our players. We got cut off at the end of our last session, so there are a few things that happened that might not necessarily be there for the public record. But before that happened, our party met Jeremo the Natterer, the keeper of the Court of Pain. The Jester's Court, as it's more commonly known, and he was your personal guide. He was very much interested in your adventures and talked your ears off about how he ended up as the Jester. And the Bladelings, he showed you a mural. He showed you another mural that seemed to depict the deity that you resurrected in the astral plane at the top of Earthamon's tower, which set this season into motion. And he has brought you into his compound. You did a little bit of gambling. Some of you won, some of you didn't. And eventually, after some notable reunions, we should say that there were important conversations to be had between Katera Marcuse and Russo about Russo's father, Edward, and his alienation, his difficulties ever since the disappearance of her mother, Anna. Blake Sunny became sort of an object, I suppose, for Jeremo, and was wheeled around and questioned by the various nobles about her follies and public crimes, essentially. Her reputation. And Pocket took extensive notes concerning the love triangle between Anna, Dmitri, and Edward Blagovich, which, come to think of it, is actually very similar to the backstory of Strahd, which may, to some extent, indicate the reluctance of Dmitri previously to make moves in this direction. But things have come to a head, and Astrid and Pocket have volunteered to begin the Colosseum sessions and are currently standing off against a large 14-foot tall humanoid creature with an open rib cage and sort of a goblinoid head, claws, and greenish brown skin. Various sharp flecks going along each of their arms.
I don't remember
blades.
this, but I'm ready.
And before we get into it, make a perception check, Pocket. Everyone is essentially sitting with the person that you were talking to previously. So Katera is next to you, Russo. Pocket, you've been taken to the Jester's seats. Copernicus has followed you, and so has Astrid.
All right.
Russo, you're just kind of outside of the box seats where your companions are.
With my trusty dusty rod of alertness, I have advantage on perception checks, landing me a 25.
Oh, I dropped my die. 1 second. Off to a good start.
Climactic.
It was a 1 on the
So
ground.
we're rolling on this week.
No.
We're still rolling on Moby Dick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the most Moby Dick thing that happened.
Yeah, right. You hear a voice from the inside of the chest cavity of this devourer. Oh!
Say that again. You cut off.
Help me! Help me!
Oh, jeez. You hear that, bird brain? No, I don't say that. That's not how I'm not going to start off this fight. You hear that? I say to Blake's sister.
Astrid.
Astrid.
Astrid doesn't hear anything. She nods her head. There is some chitter and chatter from the crowd.
Someone's
Various,
trapped inside it.
courtiers, etc., etc. Just what? Well, maybe we could kill it, and
Or just maybe
we'll figure it out.
Just maybe be careful, because that changes my plans.
And let's roll initiative.
With my trusty dusty rod of alertness, I land a natural 27 on initiative.
In a row?
In a row.
Just 1 second. I've got so many tabs open.
That fight that we had with like all of those gangly creatures, remember that?
I guess
It was
so.
one of the more recent fights, like with the last time we were in a Coliseum, right? Was that last time?
After the People's Court altercation.
The blood pits.
Yes.
Blood pits.
How long ago was that? We had an extended time after that, right? Like weeks afterwards.
You went back to the apartment.
Has it
Was
been?
it
I think
Has it been
weeks?
days or
You've
weeks?
definitely rested.
I think it's been days because I think it
Days,
was like
yeah.
weeks, and then that happened.
Okay.
Then you did
yeah,
that.
Got it.
Yeah, because we
Got it.
ended up with no Kazal, and then we went on to that.
Got it. I'm asking because my Horn of Valhalla takes 7 days to recharge. So, if just whatever we can do to help each other out with that, Derek. I'm sure it's still recharging at this moment, though. If it's only been a couple of days. You have a look on your face.
Yeah, it's about 3 or 4 days.
Okay.
Just checking.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, that stays in the pocket. Ha ha ha. Astrid, have I seen her do any fighting yet?
Nope. You can see that she has a large axe slung over her shoulder
That's all
and
I
various
needed.
golden javelins.
All right.
Or no, she carries a greatsword. Sorry.
That's all I needed to know. Okay. I'm first. Let's help Astrid out.
Bless you. Bless you.
Gesundheit.
Let's see.
Yeah, she has a stout, fearsome face.
Okay.
Or an expression on her face.
I just want to start it out. I want to throw a fireball behind the creature, hopefully blasting it in the back. My intentions being to not send the full burst straight into its chest cavity. You know what I mean?
Yeah, to use its back as a shield.
Yeah. So yeah, I toss a fireball and it needs to save some dex.
Okay. It fails. It rolls a 4.
Wonderful. I want to roll a clutch full of d6s. Eight to be precise. 10, 14, 16, 17, 19, 24, 26 points of fire damage.
And you can see that it sort of brushes the spell off.
In what way does it brush it off?
It just looks like it isn't as strongly affected from the attack as you might expect it to be.
Ah, he's resisting!
That is your action.
That's the action.
It reaches out.
Okay, that's another action. Bonus actions. Well, fuck, I should have done this right at the beginning. what's the layout of the Coliseum? Big, boring, flat, 60-foot sand pit.
It's the difference between this one and most of them is that the walls around it are a bit shorter. It's only about 3 foot tall wall space on the outside. It is it's cement. There is sand on it, but it's a flat cement surface, and it's about 90 foot in diameter.
Okay. How tall is this thing?
The
creature?
The creature is about 13 or 14 feet.
Right on. Okay. I will end my turn by flying 30 feet up.
You do that. And this is it's a large space. The Colosseum itself is within a larger stone room outside of the Colosseum space, but past the bleachers, there are essentially sort of flat silvery ponds that stretch out for a far ways. You fly up into the air, and is that your turn?
Yeah.
Cool, that is your turn. It's now Astrid's turn, and she is going to she lunges forward and begins sprinting in the direction of the creature, throwing 3 javelins in the air, 2 of which are able to find purchase, and they land in each of the creature's shoulders. And you can see little bursts of light sort of explode, for lack of a better term, radiate from the creature itself. And it seems like these attacks are slightly more effective. And it howls out in pain. And the creature Astrid continues to run in the direction of the creature, not quite making it close enough to be within direct combat range.
Pocket looks at one hand, which he can cast Fireball with, and then he looks at his other hand, which he can cast Firebolt with, and then he pulls out his notebook and says, "Get non-fire damage spells."
It's very interesting.
Because I could deal an assload of damage, just only with fire.
So the creature is going to pull both of its arms up into the air, and a purple, what looks like a vortex of
Is it casting a
dark
spell?
energy. It is not a spell. It's a vortex of life-draining energy. And our friend Astrid needs to make a Constitution saving throw, which she should be good at. Yeah, and she passes, actually, and taking only half as much damage. We'll just go ahead and say average. And you can see that she's a little bit hurt, but she's still up on her feet, not bloodied quite yet. Pocket, it's your turn. Back to the top of the round.
Right. Okay. Oh,
could
jeez.
somebody help me?
Yeah. We're actively doing that.
And it's at this point, from the crowd, you can hear, Blake, Sonny, you can hear Jeremo the Natterer cry out, "You die, you wretch! You horrible woman!"
Who's he talking to? He's talking to you?
Talking about the lady in the hole, or in that thing's chest.
What's
You
going,
know?
what?
You presume.
What
He's
is-
shaking his fist
What
in
is
the
this?
direction.
I didn't know that there was going to be like a morality part of this feat of strength.
Can,
No one-
can we hear
Jeremo
voice?
calls out and says, "Yes, it's your choice. What happens to my prisoner,
Okay.
Molly O'Connelly?"
Okay.
Don't let him get in your head. That thing's gonna kill you.
Okay. How
Your turn, Pocket.
how big is this chest cavity?
Well, it's not quite the.
You described it as like an open chest cavity, like a cage of some kind.
It is like a cage, and the ribs are sort of held in there. It's almost like just the sternum has been removed, or the central bone. I believe that's the sternum.
But you can like see through the ribs and stuff.
Mostly the figure inside is partially obscured.
I want to cast Far Step as a bonus action, which allows me to teleport 60 feet once per turn, as long as I'm concentrating.
Yep.
I would like to Far Step into the rib cage, and then with my action when I can, I'm going to try and cast Scatter to get me and the other person in the rib cage out. We could take it one step at a time. I try and teleport into the rib cage using Far Step.
Can we hear this voice, by the way? Because Astrid couldn't.
From the crowd, you probably can hear it.
I would very much,
Okay.
yeah.
And Astrid could now.
So, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I want to Far Step into the rib cage.
Jeez.
Yeah, you are able to do that.
Hi!
Oh, hey there, little fairy man.
Who am I looking at? What is this?
You can see a woman. She looks to be very, very badly,
Oh, jeez.
at the edge of her life, very badly injured. Her leather cloth shirt and pants have been ripped through, and she's covered in blood.
Oh, jeez.
She appears very much on the precipice of death. You can see that she has different twigs and a few bottles strapped around her waist.
Hey, Blood, don't worry. You're going to be all right. Just hang it there. Just give me 1 sec. And...
I feel close to death's door.
No. You aren't gonna you're not crossing the boundary today, bub.
I'm going to the dead book. I know I am.
No. The eternal boundary waits for us all, but it's not there today. It's not. You're gonna be fine. But I can't cast 2 leveled spells.
Fucking dying.
I look at them. I'm like, yeah, I'd be like that too. I can't cast 2 leveled spells on a turn, so I bonus action to get in there. I still have an action to use right now, so I would like to one sec, checking my inventory.
Mm-hmm.
Has the jester had any reaction to this?
The jester seems scintillated by the fight. Ooh, bravery.
I want to use my action to pull out a healer's kit, and while we're like in this rib cage, I'm just do real quick bandage the worst of whatever wounds she has. Just
Go ahead and make me a medicine check.
got it. Oh, geez, I'm not real good at this. I'm gonna try harder. Yeah, I'm gonna try harder.
Okay.
I go in and I see a very
It's like
near
trying to perform surgery in a car wreck.
Yeah, but I also see a very near future version of myself making the wound worse with a needle, and so I chronal shift it from a 9 to a 16.
Very cool. Go ahead and make me a D4 roll.
3.
And that's how many points of health you give to this woman.
Okay. Now just hold that. Pull that tight. Pull that. Hold it. No, hold it. Hold it.
Oh,
I need my hands.
It's
Hold
very
it.
very painful.
I know.
Tell me your name. Tell me your
It's
name.
pocket.
child.
It's pocket. You know, like like a pocket. Okay, I need you to hold that though, because I need my fingers.
Pocket. What?
I'm a wiggler. I gotta wiggle my fingers.
Pocket's your full name.
That's. Oh, don't get me fucking. Okay. I can leave right. No, don't worry about it. It's fine. That's my turn.
Pocket the Brave.
I'll
Nice.
I'll take it. Stick with that.
Very
Better than
good.
Pocket Rocket, which is what Bleak was trying to call it.
Pocket Rocket.
I don't
That's
like-
such a good
I
nickname.
don't like it.
And so you can
That's what
hear
my boyfriend calls me.
from inside the ribcage as Astrid jumps up, does a flip, and attempts to thrust her greatsword into this devourer.
You can
3
hear like the
times.
muffled sound of Blake being like, "That's my sister. That's my baby sister."
2 of them hit, and we'll just wow. Actually, those were 2 12s, so I'm glad we didn't take average. Hello. Amazing. Astrid just continues to go to town on this creature. And you can actually see the sword as it pierces through the creature's collarbones and into the center cavity, and it comes dangerously close to your head.
Astrid, we're in here. Come on. Go for the
Careful.
legs. Go for the legs. I don't know how you're reaching this high. You're not that tall. I am 10 feet off the ground. Why are you making an effort to leap up here and stab at me? Hit the legs. Fuck.
I'm grateful.
Oh,
And it's at this point the devourer is gonna jam one of its claws into its chest cavity and attempt to pierce to stab you, essentially. Pocket.
Freaky.
It's a 22 to hit.
Thing.
I will. Hold on. Nope. Yeah, I get stabbed. That's what happens. I get stabbed.
Yeah, you do. You do get stabbed. And it is for 17 points of slashing damage. Oh, and there's necrotic damage. Wow.
He stabbed me.
20 points of necrotic damage.
Oh,
Wait, 17 and 20?
Yeah, 17 slashing, 20 necrotic. And then it's going to use its other attack to try and sweep and
I'm fucking dying.
slash at
I'm
Astrid.
dying, lady. So now, we just for a moment.
Yeah, now Pocket.
Now both of us are like, no, I see the boundary.
Help me!
I see the eternal boundary. Oh no.
I'm going to the dead book.
Oh no.
Oh, for sure.
Our chapters are written right next to each other. Oh no.
This is what it feels like. Take me,
This
precious
is what
Hades.
This is what it's like to be stabbed. I've been stabbed before. You always forget.
I love the idea that everyone in the audience who has super hearing is hearing this pathetic display,
Yeah.
and everyone else is just like, "Whoa, fight scene!" Yeah.
We'll just say Astrid also is struck, but she doesn't gripe about
Well, no,
it.
she's a warrior.
Yeah, no. Which brings us back to the top of the round. It's
Also,
now your
she doesn't
action,
cry
Pocket.
about it. She didn't just go from 46 to 9 hit points, okay? She
Fair
didn't just
enough.
lose the majority of her life expectancy from one hit.
You can hear like muffled shouts from Blake.
It's
where
my
just
turn
like,
now?
"Bounce back
And
from
the woman reaches into her at her belt pouch, and she gives you a potion. She says, "Here, have this, my child."
What the fuck? Why didn't you drink it? Why did you drink it now?
I was too weak to drink it. You staunched my wounds. Here, have this potion.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
And you heal for 12 points.
Okay, I'm still dying, but more slowly.
I'm also dying here.
Me too. No, yeah, we're doing it together. We're in the same boat. Okay, is it my turn?
It's your turn. That was your item action.
Hey, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna feel a tingle. I need you to let it happen, okay?
Sure.
Okay, let's go. And I cast Scatter, and me and the lady teleport. I look out the rib cage and teleport us into the crowd, into the rafters.
Awesome. Just give me 1 second. And of course, you teleport and drop this woman right into the lap of Darren the Baron Bloodborne. He says, "Oh.
Treat her real nice. She's been through a lot." And then I bonus action teleport back
Your bar step.
60 feet. Like I'm like
Yeah.
up in the air, like out of reach of the thing, but like putting myself back into the arena. Little
Yeah.
drips of blood falling off of me and falling 60 feet through the air onto the sand.
And then Jeremo actually pushes you back, Blake Sunny, and says, "Boo, boo."
I'm gonna I'm like, you see Pocket like, you know, clutching wounds up in the air, and I look down at you, Blake. And
I think Blake's gonna start cheering for you.
And then I look at the guy who's booing next to you, the Jeremo fucker. And then I just turn back to the fight.
Yeah. I think Blake is gonna like start trying to like drown out Jeremo with just shouting Pocket's name. Like, I don't think you've been given a nickname, but other people have called you like several different things. So she abandons Pocket Rocket and goes
I
for
like
Pocket. the Bloody.
Pocket. I like my name.
Pocket.
So yeah, that was my action and bonus action. That's my turn.
Cool. And Astrid continues to hack away and go to work. Let's see how many attacks she has. 3 attacks. And this time,
Sure would be a shame if someone in the crowd were to punch somebody in the face.
I need him.
I'm sorry,
I'll
I
punch
thought
him
this
later.
was Sigil.
she only hits twice.
Astrid, plant your feet. What are you doing?
Yeah, she does the same unit of damage, we'll say. So the creature continues. You can see that it's very, very bloody at this point, and its cries begin to get louder and louder. Astrid pulls back, and the creature actually takes one of its rib bones and attempts to smash it into your sister. Succeeding, actually. Unless there's something I can't see here. She is going to use a reaction to decrease the damage by D12 plus her con modifier.
Hell yeah.
Which is good.
That's so good.
Yeah, so that's 11 fewer points of damage, which is good because this is a little bit beefy. Six. So that's only 25 points for her, which is pretty significant, which is good. And
Significant in which way?
the other attack, the follow through with the claws also hits, however, and we'll say that it does a little bit more damage. You can see that Astrid is pretty badly wounded by this point. Pocket, it's now your turn.
Okay. I'm like, fire it works, but it's not that great. I start frantically looking around, and I want to cast I want to cast animate objects on. So I want to look at the crowd. Describe to me the class of people in this crowd.
So, on the most part, you see kind of foppish nobles. Some of them are dressed
Perfect.
up like jesters. There is the occasional mercy killer that you notice, and your compatriots. Some of them, the wizard Toby Daly and the wizard that he's taken up with, Tallow Duskranger, obviously Niles Blagula and the Dirtbag Citizens Brigade are there. Various other persons. That Pocket probably wouldn't necessarily remember, but oh my god, if Bass were here.
Okay. I look at all the jewelry all over everyone in the crowd, and I get a little smirk on my face. But then I see the mercy killers. I see the fucking hardheads are here. I'm like, I reach into my pocket, and I just grab a handful of coins and throw them as hard as I can and cast animate objects.
Yep.
So I animate 10 coins. And then I will, as a bonus action, have them attack the creature.
Mm-hmm.
All right. They have +8 to hit. 19. Miss. 28. Miss. 20. 18. 16. 16. 2 16s, 4 over that.
That is 6 hits.
6 hits, wonderful. That's going to be 6d4 plus 24. 64 plus 24. Or, yes, 64 plus 24. Uh, 15 plus 24, 39.
So your coins impale through this creature, and when the last one strikes it, it falls to the ground, dead.
Yeah, I throw them out, and they just swarm around it, like piercing in and out, kind of like that guy from the Marvel movie who whistles. He's got the flying thing going around from Guardians of the Galaxy. That's what I'm imagining. Yeah.
And you can see that Jeremo has stood up to his feet and he's applauding you. Oh, that was very, very wonderful. Pocket. And the crowd joins in.
That's the guy who was just booing, right?
Yeah.
I imagine he stopped booing and started clapping when he saw Blake, like, mean mugging him.
Probably. And also, because of just the spectacular nature of your kill, it was very stylish.
And then Pocket just falls out of the air. Well, he teleports to the ground and then drops another foot.
Astrid comes and picks you up. It's okay. We'll get some healing.
I'm dying.
You're not dying.
I mean, we're all dying.
And some clerics come up to the two of you and heal you to full health.
Ooh, I'm never gonna die. Let's go.
So funny.
And
I'm like, and I say, oh, and I run over to the corpse and I start. No. I still have the spell. I'm like, oh, and I put my hands up and all of my coins come shooting back at me, stuffing them in my pocket.
Russo was in the middle of pulling out a healing potion. She's going to tuck it back into her pocket after seeing this.
And with your rod of alertness, you notice that there is something else lodged inside the rib cage of this creature that you hadn't seen previously.
Oi,
Magic item?
what's this now?
What's this? Bloody go.
Loot.
You pull out a decanter of endless water.
I start pouring it out.
And
I like pour it out, like, then I look up at the crowd and I go, huh?
Some people seem amused. Jeremo looks over to you, Blake, Sonny, and says, I'm sure you think that I'm just the bad person in this scenario because of that woman. She was sent to this compound to try and murder me. That was her punishment.
No, Jeremo, I didn't think that at all. We're quite similar in a lot of ways, I think.
Oh,
She'll be allowed to leave here with her life because of your friend's decision. So I hope that your conscience is satisfied.
Oh, did somebody make too many enemies and have an assassin hired on them? When?
I'm sure you'll be able to kill her again if she's dumb enough to come back. You'll be fine.
She stole my heart first.
Oh, dude.
Oh, look at my tiny violins.
Anyways, it's time. It's time for the meeting of the 21st Vampire Council. And there's lightning crashes in the background.
Wait.
And the Sunnies.
All I got. Wait. Why did we do this? Why did I do this? I didn't do this for a jug of water.
Gambling or fighting.
Yeah, but like, where are y'all at?
Just part of the court culture. Copernicus says.
Okay.
Entertainment.
Look,
Hey, we chose gambling.
I thought I chose gambling too.
You made your choice. No, I don't think you gambled.
No, you chose fighting.
You said that you were going to fight with
Astrid. You looked
Astrid.
down on us.
You called me a bitch.
I didn't need to be here at all. I don't need to do any of this.
We told you didn't have to come.
I got stabbed really hard.
You could have had the day off, my dude. I'm glad you came though.
You could have made your pastries at home.
Hey,
that sounds like a fucking exciting quest line. Yeah, I would have loved to fucking do that.
Yeah, imagine Astrid fighting it through and the scene flips to Pocket making some pancakes.
Probably would have gotten more out of it.
Hey, at least you saved that lady. That's a nice thing.
And Copernicus says, and I love a decanter of endless water.
I'll be honest, I thought I was being graded. I thought there was a morality aspect, so I did what you do.
Copernicus says, you might have been, and your reward, hopefully it'll come back to you.
I drank my water.
And so the crowd is broken up. Not everyone is led off in the same direction. You can see that a couple of mercy killers come up to Jeremo and sort of just nod their head with a dutiful snarl. And the group of you are led in tandem alongside a contingent of vampires, vampire spawn, vampire lords, vampire posses, brides of vampires, and some hags.
Hags. Hell yeah. Do we recognize one of the hags? Because there was that old weird hag who followed us around for a while.
You don't see Gruntilda, but you do notice a very small goblin woman with a sort of hunched over shoulders that you might recognize from Barovia.
Oh wow!
Madame Ava is among the posse.
Oh no.
Pocket
Oh,
wouldn't
God.
recognize her, but didn't we already want to go find her and talk? Someone
I
said
think that you were.
Someone told us we
looking
should go
for
talk
her.
to her and get our fortunes read, or something like
Mhm.
that.
Blake will shoot her finger guns in a
Especially
kind
before we go to Barovia.
You were given a card from an Eladrin, I believe, because Bast told a random Eladrin to look for the Vistani because he was a violinist. And the Eladrin managed to find the Vistani, and they sent out word looking for Bast.
Oh.
It happened somewhat recently.
Yeah, I remember.
And then
I
he
remember
told
that
you.
recent interaction. I don't remember. I remember Bass meeting an Eladrin. I don't remember him telling him about the violin. I believe it happened, but also that's me. And Bast wouldn't remember. Also, you know what I mean?
No, Bast definitely wouldn't remember for sure. No, and that's what was so fun because I saw it in the playback and I was like, this is the perfect time for this.
Didn't you tell the Eladrin that someone was out to get them?
yeah.
Was I lying?
Yeah.
Was I lying to them?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Sounds
sure.
about right.
They got
This
really
is Bass
paranoid.
talking. I'm like, what did I tell the guy? Oh yeah, that probably sounds right. Yeah, probably having some fun.
No, this was a pocket. This
No,
was
that's
a
just
pocket thing.
Yeah,
No, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I'm,
Yeah.
Like, if I were a Bass, like, what? I don't remember that at all.
So the meeting room, there's a long table, sort of white cloth sheets with gold details, white gold inlay mats laid along it with little writing pads and some quill pens. At this long table sit various vampires that you may or may not be aware of. Astrid goes up to the table and sits, representing the Sunny family, and she looks over, or I guess we should say along the way, Astrid asks who it is that should sit at the negotiating table.
I was
Should it
just
be
about to
her?
say, when we come
Yeah.
in, I go in and I take a seat. And by that I mean I stand in the chair with my arms folded.
You're going to take a seat because there are two places where there are people who are going to be sitting at the table or on the chairs outside of the table and then at the table itself. Does that make sense?
I think Blake wants to be at the table, and like I hate to say it, you guys would have to be really persuasive to stop her.
No, I don't give a shit where you sit because I'm sitting at the fucking table and I go stand in a chair at the table.
Okay, so that's like
Astrid
2 spots.
encourages Ruzo to also sit at the table because her and her uncle have a rapport.
Okay, I will also sit at the table.
Copernicus says, well, I don't want to not sit at the table. What if someone tries... We should all stick together, right?
We should probably have Blake at the table.
I won't say anything anyways.
I'm
Put
just
on my
I'm
ring.
just
Blake's
I'm just
already at the
mad and being
table.
stubborn right now. I don't care to say anything.
I like to think everyone sat down while
Yeah.
we were discussing seating arrangements.
Copernicus is the last one to sit down at the table at all.
Oh no!
You can see that Jeremo is at the end of the table, a little bit miffed at this.
Copernicus takes like 2 swings and drives by like a couple times.
We
I pull over. I mage hand over a glass, and the wine that I'm sure is sitting on the table.
Ooh, wonderful. Well, we know that the Jester's Court exists for the purpose of maintaining open dialogue between factions, between persons in conflict, and between the families that make Sigil run as it does. That is why the lady has entrusted me to keeping this place
Ooh.
afloat, and
Murmur.
I will do that to the best of my abilities.
I'm sorry, this is just me being curious. Does anyone at the table, anyone in the room, flinch or have any sort of
No one at
reaction
the Vampire Council bats an eye.
at him saying just outright the lady?
No.
Nice.
No, not
Yeah,
at
I kind of blink and I'll like kind of look around and see that no one's reacting to it. And
You're
kinda
the only one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Everyone like who lives in Sigil knows that, but this is like obviously some sort of fucking high level shit. Okay, yeah, that's just an interesting point to me.
And Jeremo says, and we will begin these negotiations with a brief opening statement by Dmitry Blagovich.
I start clapping and I see no one else.
Yeah. Yeah. You're the only one. Dmitry
but also
stands up.
whatever. I'm gonna drink.
Dmitry stands up and he says, one of the first meetings of the Vampire Council came together to discuss our leader, Dragul, being forbidden by the dark powers of ever being able to pass on progeny. And since those days, the issues of the kin taking the punishment for their parents' actions have been of extreme importance among the Vampire Council, even to our enemies. And that is why I have taken up the cause given and told to me by my dear niece, Ruzo. And hope that we can find some way forward on this issue. It's my understanding that the woman in question, Susan Sunny, has already breached the manor, the Blagovich compound. And so at this point, time is of the essence to make a decision on what should be done about her and how it is that we can negotiate the status of the various vampire families and ensure that if precautions need to be taken concerning a certain dark entity, then they'll be done in a way that's agreeable to all parties present. And there's some here. And he gives a little bow and sits down.
What did he say? I'm sorry, this is really good wine. I didn't hear anything you just said. Oh, fuck.
I actually think this is the first time you're gonna see Blake not kind of indulge this and just be like, kind of like fucking laser focused on presenting and being in this meeting.
It's at this point that Jeremo looks over at Astrid and says, do you have any remarks prepared, Astrid, Sunny? And Astrid stands up. She pulls out a little notebook from her satchel. And she says, my family has lived in a directed focus under the authority of the Temple of Lathander for generations. We do not disrespect or underestimate our opponents and only perform jobs which we are adequately compensated for. It's not an amoral task, the world of monster hunting, and the scale and scope of our expectations do not escape our attention. I am prepared to offer the locations of two very powerful dark entities, Shambhala and Raznisi, in exchange for the safe return of my mother and any relevant information that may be of use to my sister in her quest. The exact terms of those I will leave to the Vampire Council, but if it were possible to make progress to rid my sister of this curse and rid the Vampire Council of that thorn in their side, Strahd von Zarovich, there may be a new leader who would be more easily controlled, and thus increase the power of the council as a whole. It's at this point that Dragul raises a crooked finger and his voice carries over. A lot of NPC crosstalk. And
We're watching you do a show right now.
I know. And Dragul says, there must be a Baron of Barovia, but this argument is clearly from an enemy to the vampires, and indeed would weaken our resolve if put out as such. We must have a worthy successor to Strahd, or one who could take his form with minimal transitions or interruptions. What says the traveler who has made this pact? Admittedly, it is a curse. Admittedly, it was a pact that was done without the explicit consent of the pact bearer, and thus it ought not be looked at with the same respect as a true blood oath. What say you, Blakiston Sonny?
As a mortal, someone who ages and dies, we do not have, I suppose, the gift of this council's seeming forgiveness for Strahd. Nor do we have the gift of the complacency that you guys seem to be exercising. Because Strahd is a conquering force. He is, and he always has been. If he comes here, he will come here as a colonizer, and you know it. He has planned this. He has made his allies the king of the cross trades, Nakazal. He's prepared.
You can hear a snickering in a familiar at the reference to the king of the cross trade.
She's right there. She's sitting down there.
Yeah. I mean, like, Blake would literally, like, be looking and pointing at her. Just like, yeah. Like, not even trying to hide it.
I love Nebraska.
So, and there seems to be an air here that the Vampiric Council would be allowed to continue if Strahd was here, under a control that isn't Strahd. He would kill or subjugate or bring to heel each one of you, and you know it. I am fine with a Baron sitting in Barovia, but it cannot be Strahd, for your sake. And for my sake. You mentioned the word consent. This is a man who took my blood when I was sleeping and is pretending he has taken my consent. Do you think you could trust such a man? He gave me a vial, a super weapon, me, an established vampire hunter. He gave me a weapon that could control any vampire, subjugate their will. And I dashed it into the ground. I destroyed that thing because it's disgusting. What he's done to me is disgusting, and what he will do to you is worse. For your sakes, listen to my plea. support the case against Strad von Zarovich. We can save this meaningless bloodshed, and maybe, just maybe, change the course of Sigil, because God knows, we don't need vampire hunters.
Which god?
Gods know. Thank you, Pocket.
You can see Darren the Baron sort of visibly like, oh, wow, that was really something, really something. Could you make a performance persuasion check with advantage?
Here. The support, the advantage is Darren the Baron being like, oh yeah.
Darren the Baron is giving you help, yeah.
Oh. 80?
Cool. So you can see that you appear to have convinced most of the council, although Dragul doesn't seem to really be buying it. Let's see.
I wish charm spells were cooler. Charm spells
Yeah.
suck in D&D.
The Vistani woman stands up and says, we have only looked at the issue from the outside and must remember that for some of us here, it is a very personal thing. Now, I would say there are secrets that Dragul has at his possession that are very worthwhile to certain members in our council here today. Certain members who do not understand their importance in the great scheme of this city and its future and its past and its present. So, if it is to be the case that there can be found a replacement for Strahd, then let us have the time for the discussions in a more casual format. Suggest that we take a quick break for coffee and cake and reconvene in 20 minutes.
God.
And you can see Jeremo, and he says, coffee and cake?
Yeah, vampires don't eat.
I am...
Speak for yourself.
I find this very like a very delightful sequence of events. I do concede we'll have a 20-minute unstructured caucus, and when we come back on the other side, we'll see if we have any suggestions for a replacement for one Strahd. He has a little gavel, and he bangs it, but it makes a little squishy noise.
Can I make a history check to establish how much, like, if Pocket, maybe at this point he went and grabbed a copy of Istrad or something, like how much he's like knows about.
Copernicus has read Istrad recently, I think. If you want,
I would say that it would have interested him during that 2-week break or whatever.
Yeah.
Because like I know lore about Strahd. I just need to establish like how far that goes with.
Make
Pocket.
a history check.
That's very good. That's a 23.
Okay.
What I'm poking at in my head is just the biggest thing about this is that like one, it is a wild implication to me that Strahd could ever leave Barovia or be allowed to leave Barovia by the dark powers that bound him there. Even more of a stretch to me would be the idea of replacing him, because it was a very personal thing that he did, a very personal pact he made with these dark powers. And there's must just be some bureaucratic level to these pacts that I don't understand, because I just don't look at it as like a loophole type situation.
Well, you have to think, like, sometimes there are gods that are either transformed or given a new name because of circumstances.
So
And
you're
the
saying the dark
movements.
powers have changed since then, or
It's possible that just because of the nature of the universe changing as such, Strahd may still exist but takes on a different iteration. It may be that the soul of the original Strahd is, I don't know, theoretically completely destroyed, but there's another soul that is, placed in the same prison as a proxy, and no one in Barovia would necessarily know. And even if the physical appearance weren't different and it was just someone else behind the eyes, it's just as disturbing.
can we
Just
say
as
that this is
interesting.
like conversations like I'm having with
Copernicus and
random
you are
people?
having this
Okay,
conversation. Yeah. Because Copernicus did read I Strahd, if I remember.
Mhm.
So you could,
I didn't know
probably
you
talk
were
a
such
little
a
bit
cutter
about
on
the lore.
plane stuff, cop.
And Copernicus says, well, I got into it, after we got back from those crazy plane hopping. Well, Theodos had that book, and I was trying to learn as much as I could about
Who?
Origin City. Theodos?
Mm.
You didn't meet him. He died in the tower.
Oh, one of those. Shame.
It was a shame. He was like my brother.
Anyway, yeah, just start back in. Like, oh, okay, that was awkward. I'm gonna talk about Strahd now. I'm gonna keep talking about Strahd.
Yeah, yeah. A little single tear in Copernicus's eye.
Hmm.
Well, because technically, Bass was talking about. Well, Strahd was trying to get Bass, the other person who died in the tower, to possibly replace him, and it seems kind of wrong. But if Bass's soul is inside this wand, we could offer it up, as collateral.
But what?
Thank you for reacting, because Pocket couldn't.
There's a fucking hammer on whatever table or solid object that is nearby, and it's like, vetoed. Next idea.
We need to find a
Oh my god.
mid-tier vampire thrall with a lot of ambition, or a fallen warrior wizard.
Fallen warrior wizard.
Do you know anyone who fits that description? I don't.
Besides Bast.
Besides Bass.
Besides that, fallen warrior. Yeah.
Wait, they have to be. Oh, you're saying that there needs to be someone who is like similar enough to Strahd, either physically or spiritually.
Yes.
One or the other. That'll be enough.
I mean, someone who could fill the shoes in one capacity.
Or the other.
Origin, yeah.
But not both.
Well, it could be both. If it were both, that would probably be easier.
Right? It doesn't sound like he's both, though.
Well, the thing is, who is both? That's what Copernicus is asking. And again,
Two things.
Oh, go ahead.
Two ideas. Firstly, there's the oh my goodness, he's not dead yet, but I am putting the cart before the horse here because I don't think he would make it. There was that guy with the ring of warmth who absolutely despised Strahd.
Artist.
You might be amenable even to the idea of talking to him about it.
Artist.
Timber.
You don't know what happened to Artist Timber.
No, he vanished when we teleported a different way, but I can imagine if he's dead, even better. If he's findable, then we can talk about it before he takes Strahd's place.
That's a fucker that does not prefer to die.
Yeah, and he had the passion, and I think that that he used a little bit of magic.
Absolutely, and anything that just means that Strahd will be permanently dead, like that's something he would probably
really want vengeance on Strahd, even if it meant sacrificing himself. Copernicus says, having also met Artist Simber.
Yeah. How about does Russo have any ideas? Considering vampire thralls is like a part of this.
Russo hasn't been listening to any of this. She's stressing over the fact that she may have to speak and is like writing out a speech or stuff to say.
Honest, like, I think Blake would be like
She's
reassuring
like,
about
huh?
it.
Huh? What?
You know, that's not actually the best method. You're probably missing out on more than you're gaining by hyper focusing. Sorry, I
You're
get a
gonna
lot of.
stress her out. Oh my god.
Yeah, now's not the time. You're
I
right. I'm
mean,
sorry.
my uncle's life hinges on this. This is important.
It is, which is why we need to think of a successor.
Astrid
need-
says mom's already inside the Blackovich Manor, so we need to
Exactly.
prioritize. The most important thing is negotiating her just being held prisoner and not letting them kill her. If they make a formal agreement, they'll stick to it. The Vampire Council.
Wait, do they already have her, or is she like? Is it implied that she's like actively on her hunt right now?
She's on the hunt. She's inside the Blackovich
This is
Manor.
fucking. You people are fucking insane. Not like you guys, but all of this convening a meeting while there's literally.
This is what I've been saying, Pocket. Oh my god.
I'm on your side. I never wanted to be here.
We should have left a day ago. We would be in hell, and we would have so much time. Oh my god.
Copernicus says it's
We
true.
can buy
We
more
could've-
time. We need to
could've
go
kept her
through
from
this
going
and have
in.
this meeting.
All right.
I hope your mom's not that good at her job.
My mom's the best at her job. That's the problem.
I mean,
Maybe I
considering
can-
she's already been spotted, and Dimitri is in fact here, so she can't exactly kill him. It's not.
can
She's not
do the
great at her
damage
job.
he
Oh wait,
needs.
yeah, okay, yeah, I forgot about that. I didn't.
Dimitri is here.
I didn't realize
yeah,
that
Yeah.
her
so-
target is here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
you
she's
people are still crazy.
not- Yeah.
Regardless. God.
Okay.
All right. Maybe I can go try and slow her down while you guys sort this. What do you think?
I think we should stick together.
Copernicus says no. We
Veto.
have to- veto.
Cool. I like that. I need that to catch. Very cool. So we have that, and we have one other, but I can't say that it's an idea that Blake likes.
Also,
So she's holding it back.
Do tell.
No,
Okay.
it is an alternative. This guy deserves better than to be put in Strahd's place. Oh my god.
I really can't tell you how many times Bast rolled over in the wand, like centrifuge style, when Copernicus suggested that.
Yeah, Bass said he didn't want it.
I'm so glad
You said-
Blake was right there.
You said a vampire thrall
Alternatively,
works, right?
Well,
Thrall.
someone
Or-
who was very like a powerful vampire, or they're, someone who's coming up into it.
this
Vampire
may
lord more than a thrall.
Right.
yeah. This may be a lot more work than it's probably worth, but isn't it implied that Strahd can now leave Barovia because of whatever's going on in the world?
Not yet.
Okay.
Your dad needs to die first.
Yeah, it would.
Uncle.
The presumption is that a piece of Strahd's soul was going to be integrated into a building in the city, and that they would be able to travel because of that. You may not necessarily know what the effect the spell plague has had on the Shadowfell, if any, and the extent of the magic that keeps Strahd contained within his realm. You don't know? You just don't know.
Wow.
Blake says,
What were you
Artist
saying about
Simber,
trolls?
or Copernicus says, Artist Simber, that seems like the best thing. I'm sorry, what were you saying, Grace?
Thralls? What were we saying about thralls?
That's an alternative. We need a vampire lord who's willing to take Strahd's place. You would be the best person to judge that, but that's something you'd need to talk through.
And who's this artist guy?
Oh, he's a guy we met once. He
Dusk Elf
hates Strahd. Dusk Elf. Real cool guy.
followed you to the Amber Temple.
Is that a pun?
He... Yeah. Yeah,
Who's
he,
that guy
the
who hangs out with Strahd? The other guy who lives.
Oh,
the-
Rahadin,
Oh.
his manservant.
Yeah, Rahadin.
Yeah, don't worry about
Rahadin's
that
too
guy.
attached to Strahd. Yeah, Rahadin doesn't have a soul.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's gonna get it though.
Because
So we have one big solid idea with a bullet and two ideas that are abhorrent even to Blake, but are backups.
Okay. And Copernicus or Astrid says we have to presume that he's going to want this, and I think that you're right to presume that. But we'll make it seem like he's already agreed.
All right.
who?
God.
Wait, what?
Artist Simber.
Hmm.
And the meeting reconvenes. You can see that the vampires all down their coffee and finish their cakes.
I don't get that.
Nice.
I don't get it.
They enjoy the finer things in life.
Vampire's cake.
I can't help but wonder if Pocket just grabbed some blood wine and was drinking that. I feel like that would have to be at the
Maybe.
table.
I just thought
There
that
is
was like a
blood
thing about
wine.
vampires, that they don't eat food. They can't. They like physically regurgitate it when they do.
I'm gonna grab a cake
very
and just
common.
angrily in front of
That's why they
Pocket.
drink blood. They can't eat.
So that's what that noise is. The bleh is actually just spitting up their food.
Yes, no, that I accept. If they're like,
hairballs.
yeah, exactly. Or they eat it to get the flavor, but then their body rejects it. They have buckets next to them. That's cool.
Must be good cake. God.
It is good cake. It's from Paltry's Pastries.
Oh. Wow.
You recognize the coffee cakes.
I cooked them.
Real espresso beans, tiramisu, like.
I know.
Yeah.
I baked them. You can tell because my fingerprints are on the bottom.
Ew.
They get baked. It's a inflection. It's decoration.
The signature.
Gosh.
Ew.
It's a maker's mark.
I know what you
Guillermo
do with
sits
your
down
hands.
at the end of the table and says, "We're based on the conversations that I've had with Dragul, we're going to need our voyeurs in the court and our friends to exit the room. Feel free to enjoy the spoils in the feast hall of the inner court. We will be with you momentarily. But this is now a closed door meeting."
I continue to stand in my chair.
Mm-hmm. Do the representatives of the party in associate with Astrid, Sunny, Blakiston, Sunny, and Russo, Sorrowbrook, and Pocket, and Copernicus have a candidate to replace one Strad von Zarovich?
I think
We have a
Russo had some
suggested
stuff
candidate.
they wanted to say.
Oh.
No? I thought you were writing a lot. Oh, God. You
Russo,
wrote it all.
any statements on behalf of your...
Come on, do it. You wrote it.
You're ruining the flow of the meeting.
You can see Dimitri.
Ruzo's going to stand up awkwardly and glare at Pocket.
Like, Blake is 100% nodding, like, smiling, just like, yeah, you got this. You got this, dude.
We've heard from the Sunny family already, but I feel it's important that we hear from a representative of the Blagovich Manor. I want to make a statement on our behalf. Strahd has made an attack on our own. You heard from my uncle that Susan Sunny has already breached our compound. We have evidence that Strahd is behind this. He hired Susan Sunny to kill my uncle, and he intends to create a power vacuum here in Sigil and leave Barovia Baronless. He cannot be allowed to exact his designs upon the city, and it's foolish to believe that he'd stop just with my uncle's life and allow this council to continue in its current form. The issue presently isn't that Barovia will be Baronless, because either way that's going to be the case. He intends to leave Barovia for Sigil, and we can't stop that unless we defeat him. We have a method of doing so through his phylacteries, and in fact, we've managed to locate one and have the locations of several that we can track down. We don't need. All we need from this council is its permission. We can do the rest, and we can defeat Strahd, but he cannot be allowed to come to Sigil and exact his designs.
Make a persuasion check again with advantage, as Darren the Baron says. Isn't she good? She's really nice.
It's like the ultimate wingman.
Yeah. Darren the Baron.
Baron the Baron.
Nice.
26.
Whew, natural 20. Wow. And there's a hushed murmur that takes over the crowd, and Dragul says, "And who would you have to replace Strahd then?"
We have a list of names. I'll pass you over to my acquaintance, Lake Sunny.
So, I think... Blake will obviously mention the candidate Ambuscard.
Artist Simber.
Artist Simber. So, we have Artist Simber, who we believe may be amenable to this solution. He's a warrior, and there is none more determined than him to kill Strahd. Maybe save myself. But this is a decision of great import. I believe the Vampire Council should have at least a hand in deciding this. Do you not have a vampire among you who would look to Barovia as perhaps a project? Who means to shape it in their own image? One who could step into the mantle of Strahd. If you have survived this city, then that must be the case.
Dragul raises a crooked finger and says, Vampire Council does not wish to associate with Barovia, and hasn't associated with Barovia since Strahd's, as you might say, early Imperial conquest. The Dark Powers locked him in the realm exactly for the reasons why you said, because he attempted to conquer neighboring Blades of Dread, to conquer other sections of the Shadowfell, and he succeeded in stretching his conquest to include the prime material. That's how the Vistani are able to make their passages in through today.
Okay. Well, the point remains that the Sunnies, my group, and I, we're not conquerors and we're not dictators. Our suggestion is merely that, a suggestion.
The vampires will look upon the realm of Barovia as the land of traitors, betraying their own kind. So, those who keep themselves aloof from that lore make better candidates.
Oh, man.
Well,
I think the moment, the word traitor, comes up, I think, Russo would definitely not need an insight check to realize that, on Blake's list is 100% her dad. 100%. Flighty. And in need of purpose. But he's on the list, and that's why she hasn't said it.
And I'm not, I don't see your list, I don't know anything about that. I'm like, well, are there no traitors amongst your midst? There's a lot of you. Couldn't this be a good time for you to get rid of that one person you haven't liked for a while?
Give them control of the most powerful throne.
You just said it was a dump. What's great about that place? What's he able to do?
The power that Strahd's amassed in the heart of Castle Ravenloft. The envy of the Plains of Dread.
Sounds like an exile to me.
With all due respect, this world is broken. There's a spell plague going on in the outer planes or wherever it is, We can't keep ignoring Barovia because it's convenient and because there's traitors and because of the history behind it. We need somebody, and you need to make a decision. We can't make this decision for you.
I mean, we have a
But
suggestion.
Dimitri says the tenacity is worth its weight in gold. We will consider the suggestion then of Artist Simver, and will provide you with and he takes out a pair, what looks like a set of vampire dentures. And he says these will help enhance the vampiric powers. So if Artis, as I've heard, is turned, he will transform from a vampire or vampire spawn into one worthy of claiming the seat of Strahd.
This is like a huge gift for the party. Like, I think like Blake would kind of want Russo to take it because it's, that's your
It is a
deal.
vampire gift, yeah.
I will take them and just sort of wrap them in some spare cloth that I have.
Mm-hmm.
With like a fancy napkin on the table. Like...
Now, tell us where Shambhala and Rasnisi are. And Astrid says,
Wait, what about Miss Sunny? Isn't that like still on the table? Isn't she still at your house?
Dimitri says, we will follow the directions of Astrid and keep her as our prisoner. For a modest a sum, we will release her, simply so that she doesn't feel ashamed at being held hostage.
If you could catch her, God.
We'll catch her. And Astrid then butts in and says Shambhala is on the prime material on a planet called Irith. And in a realm called Egypt.
Oh, you got that pronunciation right.
Yeah. And that Rasnisi had been transported from his palace in Cholt to a desert on the mainland of the Forgotten Realms, the largest desert in the Forgotten Realms, whose name eludes me right now. It's not really important.
Anarok Desert, I think.
And Dragul says, then I will share this important lore with you. The substance that you procured previously that you called Quicksilver, it's not only a piece of the opener of ways, but it also contains a fusion of the essence of the lady and is connected with the origins of the city and the opener of doors from whom Ptah was created, Eoskar.
I don't think any of that was... Maybe it's new for Pocket, but I feel like I knew a lot of that already, which is cool that I already like recognized it.
I don't know if we knew about the bit about the lady.
I think it was, or at least with Bast, he had a couple of scenes
implied.
when it was like super implied to him.
The vampire says that an important thing to remember is that the lady really exists. Even though she remains aloof. The lady is able to open doors through dimensions and to move freely through space through her wizard servant, Ramander the Wise, who also keeps track of movement in and out of portals. And he says, actually, the story of Jeremo. Well, there are rumors that the lady, obviously not being able to travel through the city normally, created avatars. People that could go and see the true face of the city away from the fear and the speculation. That one day there was a silly man in the hive who mixed Morglorp and dragon's blood and Elysian mushrooms in 1 pint of beer.
Pocket writes this down.
And
You don't use that. Oh my god.
if the rumors are correct, the woman who handed him the key, the woman who brought him to take his presiding seat over this very court, it was Anna Russo. It was Anna.
Wait, where did the hooch come in?
And that's where we're going to stop.
I'm sorry, where did the hooch fit into that story? Who drank the hooch?
The jester.
Jeremo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He said he took all of that stuff and then someone came and gave him a key.
I like that twist. I think the 1-2 punch of the lady has avatars and we've probably run into them at some point is terrifying for Blake and for Pocket because they're like, fuck! But also, like, the fact that it could be Raiso's mom? Shit.
I thought you were gonna work up to like, oh, Jeremo's an avatar. I was gonna ask about that, and then didn't expect that twist.
That twist. Oh my god. Are you
Yes.
pot lady? Oh my god.
That very disturbing.
Biologically horrifying.
So it may not be the case, but it very well may. We'll have to figure it all out on our next session and in subsequent episodes. But until then, thank you all for joining us, and we'll catch you in the nearest of futures. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Click.